Hello everyone and welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, probably the best build in Elden Ring. You could also switch out a couple of the items for this build and personalize it so that it fits you a little bit better as well. But overall, I believe that this is one of the best builds in the game. So another thing I wanted to mention was that if you guys are not already subbed to the channel, make sure you drop a sub and a like on the video if you either drink water or if you enjoyed the video. About 99% of you guys are not already subbed, which is a big number. As well as if you guys wanted to see any specific video in the future, you can comment below. In the comment with the most likes, I'll be making a build specifically on that. And another thing I wanted to mention was that if you guys have any trouble getting any of the items for the build, you can go to aoa.com and you can get any item or rune in the game. They have literally everything in the game that you could ever need, and they sell for very, very cheap. You could also use code SERAPH for 3% off. I'll be putting the link in the description, and you can grab whatever you may need for this build. So with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So the first thing we always talk about is the gear of the build. So for this build specifically, we have two Scavenger's curved swords. One is Keen and one is Blood. In the main hand, we have the Keen one with the Bloodhound step. For our offhand, we have the Parrying Dagger, just in case we need to parry people, and the Dragon Communion Seal. For the fashion of the build, we have the White Mask, Veteran's Armor, Beast Champion Gauntlets, and Banished Knight Greaves. For the Talismans of the build, we have Lord of Blood's Exaltation, which gives us a very nice increase to attack power when there's blood loss in the vicinity. And then we have the Old Lord's Talisman, which extends spell effect duration, very good for the build. And then next up we have the Millicent's Prothesis, which is going to increase our attack power with successive attacks. And last but not least, Dragoncrest Great Shield, which boosts our physical damage negation. For our Flask of Wondrous Physic, we have the Opaline Hard Tier and Thorny Crack Tier, nice boost to damage and damage negation. For the stats of the build, we are level 150. We have 50 Vigor, 15 Mind, 30 Endurance, 11 Strength, 19 Dexterity, 14 Intelligence, 20 Faith, and 75 Arcane. So this is primarily an Arcane based build. For the Incantations of the build, we have Fire's Deadly Sin, followed by Blood Flame Blade, Catch Flame, Rotten Breath, and Bestial Vitality. The main damage of this build is going to come from the synergy between Fire's Deadly Sin and Blood Flame Blade. I also have Catch Flame in here just in case I ever need to do quick burst damage, because it's very good for that in PvE and PvP content. And then we have Rotten Breath and Bestial Vitality to offset the damage you will be taking from the Fire's Deadly Sin. So now we're going to talk about how this build works, how you can optimize it, how you should be using it, and some of the downsides of the build, which there literally are not many at all. So basically this build revolves around the fact that Blood Flame Blade and Fire's Deadly Sin have an interaction which basically allows you to be close to an enemy. You don't even have to be hitting them, but as long as you are close to an enemy, they will be taking blood damage. So their blood meter will be going up the entire time just by standing near them. So obviously you can probably imagine how overpowered this is. And whereas this was a bug a long time ago, people used to use this with the Eclipse Shuttle, it has been a couple patches now, and I think we're on patch 1.07 or 1.04.1. But regardless, it's been in the game for multiple patches now, so I have no other reason to believe that this is just an intended feature at this point. So I'm going to be utilizing it in some of my builds, and that's why I believe that this build is absolutely insane. Since you have that passive blood loss buildup, and the fact that the curved swords have such good buildup as well, and the fact that you can attack so quickly, you're able to do insane amounts of blood damage very, very quickly. And that's why this is one of the most consistent builds in terms of damage. And it also features some very good tankiness, because we have the threshold of 62 poise. I think it's a 61 poise is what you need to be able to withstand a lot of the garbage attacks that you will be facing, as well as just the defense that you get is almost 50, so you're essentially almost ignoring 50% of all damage you're going to be taking with the flask and the armor itself. So not only is the damage amazing on this build, but the survivability is pretty awesome as well. And overall, that's why I believe that this is one of the best builds in the game. So basically, the way you're going to be using it is you're going to pop your flask first because it lasts the longest. You'll be getting that nice little boost to damage and damage negation. And then after you do that, you're going to want to throw on your Blood Flame Blade, just because it lasts a little bit longer than the Fire's Deadly Sins. And this is one of the reasons why I have the Old Lord Talisman on, is just because of the fact that the Fire Deadly Sin does not last that long. I think it's 30 seconds, and whenever you throw this talisman on, it lasts a little bit longer. I don't know the exact difference, but it is pretty substantial, and it is substantial enough for me to consider it a very useful part of the kit and a necessary item to include, since it does take a little bit to rebuff in the middle of a fight, as you will see I do during the Malekith fight. Luckily he got stuck in a in a pole, so I actually lucked out a little bit right there because he is an annoying boss. However, after you are done buffing up with the Blood Flame Blade, you then throw on the Fire's Deadly Sins, since it is the shortest lasting buff of the kit. And once you do this, all you're going to want to do is just stick to the enemy that you are fighting. So whether this is in PvE or PvP, you just want to get as close as you can to people because you are constantly getting that passive bleed buildup. A lot of times in PvP, people will run away, but you can use your Bloodhound Step to get right up next to them, and it is incredibly strong. For PvE, it is probably it is without a doubt the best build in the game. You can do such consistent damage. I haven't fought Melania with it, but I'd imagine I would probably solo her in, I don't know, less than 2 minutes. She would be dead so quickly, and the fact that I have Bloodhound Step with the incredible movement, it's honestly a little bit difficult to die when you're fighting certain bosses. Because of the movement you have and the ability to deal out such high damage while also having a very solid defense as well. So I feel like this is just without a doubt the most well-rounded build in the entire game, and it also probably has the highest damage in the entire game, so that obviously helps a lot as well. So overall, this is probably the best build in the game, and I would definitely encourage you guys to try it out. It's a lot of fun to use, and it's honestly, it makes the game incredibly easy. You can just roll through bosses and PvP. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching this build video. So with that being said, I will see you next time.